Yeah, I can barely see the screen. All right, welcome everyone. This is your host, Lindsey Elocin Hooper, with World Ascension Conference. I'm the co-founder, along with the wonderful Laura Eisenhower, great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, and my other co-founder, Dollie, Indigo star. I'm your host, and we are so happy. Laura, Dollie, and I are so happy to have the wonderful Grayham Forscutt right here. And he is absolutely, let me just say right here, he has so much knowledge that, I mean, the only way I can put it is he's an absolute genius. I mean, I know we're all geniuses in some sort, and we're all channels of the universe, etc. But he's got some amazing wisdom, really to share today. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give Graham the floor right now to explain a little bit about what he does. Excuse the ad over here, guys. I don't know what that is, but whatever. I just hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, Graham, just take the floor.
Oh, thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah.
This is new to me. I haven't done any of these, so see how it goes.
Welcome. Hey, I've never done an interview outside in the blinding hot sun. So we're kind of together on this. I can't even see myself right now. I'm hoping that people. I mean, I know people can see me, but excuse me if I start sweating people. But go ahead, Graham.
I live in rural New Zealand, and I've been in this location for about 25 years, so it's about as far away as you can get. We're about 2 hours away from the nearest small city, which is hardly even a city. So most of my life, my adult life, just nearly 62 now, most of my adult life I've been living in the country, more or less. And I live in a bay, it's called Golden Bay, and I can send you the shape of the bay, which is sort of closed off almost completely, and it is the shape of two exact golden ratio spirals, so like a water place.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm on the coast of Wilmington. It's very nice here. It's kind of unlike any other North Carolina beaches. We're more so of a like a peninsula. It's really amazing here. So at least you see my hair flapping. At least I'm getting a breeze right now with the humidity and the 100-degree index or whatever you call it. But go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. When I used to read stuff like 30 years ago, so back then there wasn't much around as far as internet goes, or books were hard to get, and so it was kind of like an internal experience. But I think a number of people had that in their younger audiences, like me into the 80s. And shortly after that, there were a few books coming out, and that was kind of the beginning of the era of the star seed and kind of galactic connection in general. People back in that time were writing books that they felt like they were connected both to extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, and to galactic center creating an overseeing galaxy. So it was kind of like a new thing in that stage, but now 15 years later, it's becoming norm, and lots of things have happened since then, with lots of support and sharing those who are similar intelligent like myself, of course.
Precisely. Yeah. I absolutely. I can totally give credit where credit is due as far as the internet when it comes to this huge movement that's going on. When I was younger, first going through my awakening, I had a lot of friends abandon me and thought I was crazy. And now all these conspiracy theories are proving true, but yet I built an online community and met my dearest friend, and now uh, basically my sister Laura Eisenhower, and we just instantly connected. And along with Dollie and just so many people, and that's the thing out there for these star seeds and etc. I know you might feel alone. I know you might feel like something's going on inside of you. You're waking up. You want to change your views, or you want to go live off grid. You're suddenly wanting to get away from the system. Find a good support community. If you do have the internet, they're everywhere online, guys.
So talk about?
Whatever you feel, the star seeds, your line of whatever we here at World Ascension, we have new masks, etc. We're just going through this process like everyone else. So, we go with the flow on these interviews, and we're just giving you the floor, honey.
Okay, yeah. That's one of the questions that helps me to sort of.
Yeah, I mean, what I find really interesting about your work, I mean, it's fascinating, and it might be hard for some people to grasp, because sometimes I can wrap my mind around it. Can you explain this? I know you do this. Trying to think of the word. It's so new to me. This astrology, this galactic astrology. How long have you been practicing this?
This is like 30 years now as well. It's called heliocentric charts drawn out from the sun's perspective. And the sun, of course, is like a node galactic aura.
Precisely.
Yeah, what goes on as far as the larger galaxy goes, and the sun instantaneously, or the solar system instantaneously. And when the opponent left your solar marker or recent year of birth mode in your astrology chart, to get from outside the solar system into the solar system and then come in on the planet Earth means you have to come through the sun. So it's like a stargate event. So reconnecting up through the galactic astrology chart is kind of like helps a person get into this flow of reincarnation, faith and belief.
Sorry. Sorry about that. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't go in my lush backyard because the Wi-Fi doesn't reach that far. So, I mean, it does. It's just not as good. But go ahead. I'm sorry. You were talking about going through the sun, as ultimately it is a stargate. Just kind of like the moon. I mean, there's so many stargates like everywhere.
I guess the important part, which I would probably always go back to, is everything that's really connected up over a distance, a long distance. It's called quantum entanglement.
Right.
For that to happen, it has to be based on the golden ratio. It's as simple as that. And this has been proven again and again. So, as far as the Akasha goes, the cosmic mind, or the interaction between us and everything, it all comes because of the dynamics involved with vibration.
Yeah.
That's like base one. Everything else they just talked about or people have known can start there. But at the moment, we have it as a template, a foundation which is always going to be true into the future, no matter things come and go. That will always be there.
Precisely. I find it very interesting that we're speaking about the sun as a stargate, and I'm staring right at it. Anyway, it's right. Yeah, and I might excuse me, viewers and listeners. I might scoot back soon, and then I'll be able to see myself and kind of. I'm just trying to keep the balance. I don't want to fade too much out here, and I want to keep everything going on. So yeah, the Stargate is going down. So go ahead, Graham.
Another thing I remind people of is that our solar system is embedded in the galaxy. We're sitting in the solar galactic aura. We're in the solar environment. The galaxy itself is in the solar body of a super galaxy. It's called the Virgo cluster. And then the Virgo cluster is in the solar body of
Precisely, precisely. I do agree. And while I do hear this siren coming up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my video off just like you have yours. And I'm going to ask you to continue speaking on this while I adjust my chair and my table and get out of the sun. But yeah, keep going with your astrology and don't let this movement stop you. So go ahead.
So we're looking out at the space and we can see so different stars. And if we had a telescope and see stars, if we could get out of the atmosphere, we'd see almost be totally packed full of light sources of one size or another. They're either completely spherical, we could look out omnidirectionally, the whole space around us was almost full of light. We could shift a little bit to one side or the other side, move around a bit, and we'd see the same light sources but from slightly different angles. So this shows that space itself is full of life.
Oh yes, it's teeming with life. I mean, we are stardust, you know. Everything literally, essentially on this earth comes back to a certain composition of stardust.
Absolutely.
So I think it's amazing, and for anyone who wants any kind of reading or astrology information, because I mean it's out of this world. His work. What I'm gonna do towards the end of the interview, I'm gonna type his website or things, you know, where you could reach him on Facebook or any kind of email or links that he may have if you're interested in certain services. And what's really interesting, Graham, I really love the light macabre work that you do with the material objects. Now, can you get into that a little bit? Like, that kind of goes along with, like, Magenta Pixie and her message?
Sure. Once again, this happened about 30 years ago, and through out-of-body experiences and a number of other similar types of experiences, I wanted to know or develop a light body which was a collective light body.
Right,
Kind of
like for example, I'm not trying to interrupt, but the word hue man means light body, light man. Hue comes from light, so yeah.
Which triggered a number of sort of explorations and research and so on, and came up with some early work that was done by another New Zealander, Robert Morant, and he designed a shape for a space station which happened to be the same as Buckminster Fuller's shape for a photonic crystal. And a lot's been done since then with photonic crystals, or actually it's a quasi-crystal. As soon as you start talking about golden ratio or Fibonacci crystals, you have to call it a quasi-crystal. So the light body itself, being a golden ratio construct, is the same as the sun, or the same as a photonic crystal. The way it can leave 3D reality and shift through 4D reality and move around and stuff like that is its implosion capability.
Yes, for sure, because what we're seeing, for the listeners and viewers out there right now, what we are witnessing is, you know, a lot of people with, you know, are going through, you know, we're not only experiencing solar storms, but we're also experiencing geomagnetic storms as well. And when we get these cosmic magnetic, like, influxes and etc., you know, it throws us off. It can sometimes make us more tired and etc. But another thing that's happening right now, as you talked about the different dimensions and all these kind of, just in relation to what you just said, we have to realize that we're moving from the third D, from the third density, which we've been in for quite some time, and now we're into the fourth, and we're actually seeing the fifth as well a little bit, and all of these timelines, right now are in a sense, it feels like they're overlapping, you know, in some sort of sense, because we also have the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, and ninth density, and then even on all those etheric realms that are always here. You know, sometimes I look around, you know, as an intuitive healer and clairvoyant and etc. Now, I don't predict anyone's future because they're infinite timelines, and but yet what I'm trying to say is, you know, all of these different densities, they're present with us all the time, and whether we choose to get to higher density via meditation, etc., you know, it's happening. It's all around us, and I sit there sometimes and I think, wow, you know, sometimes I can actually see the plasma and the particles in the air, you know, and I think, wow, there is so much beyond this veil that is happening all around me that I can't even see with my naked eye. And Einstein proved that.
True. And with the golden ratio, it transmigrates, or it goes through all the densities. And so when the new 4D, 5D structures get put in place, 5D permaculture, so forth, the way that the community arranges itself, it'll be self-organizing, will be based on the same patterns or units, or the way of combining different groups together as the starship or the space station. So what that means is that as groups come together or communities come together and each person does their constructive creative work, the way that it'll nest together will be like teaching people the very thing they need to know as when they're ready to leave Earth post incarnation, groups of starseeds and so forth, be first off the planet kind of thing. They will have already learned how the starship, mothership, and therefore the pods within that, how it all works. They will have learned it through the social structure.
Precisely, because it's like I've been telling people, you know, when we recognize, you know, we see all these things happening in the world, false flags, etc. And I had an interview with the amazing Lori McDonald last night, and she was the first one to say, you know, be careful what you give your emotions to. And I've always said that as well. You know, don't feed into so many of these things, because that's really where your attention, where your energy where your attention goes, your energy flows. And we have to remember that we as humans, we are master manifestors. We can literally travel through time and space. We do it every night while we sleep. You know, I try to remind people, you know, there's a Russian scientist who actually captured on the body leaving the spirit as it slept on film. So if you can't get into that state of these higher consciousness and awareness, remember, you can set your intentions before you go to sleep at night. And just because you're not being physically active, you are being very spiritually active while you're awake and asleep via your consciousness.
This is what Magenta Pixie talks about, the diamond ray light body codes.
Precisely.
And as she mentions in that, initially it's like the antimatter universe of imagination. So your light body is like an imaginary tool, kind of projection or momentum. It can be any art form or any creative thing which connects you through density or through dimensions. She goes on to say that, or the Council of Nine go on to say that at some point the antimatter light body becomes an interface with the 3D body, with the biology. So it's not only an out of body or you know, post biological dreamscape sort of era or phenomena. It becomes a dematerialization of the biology as well into a light body, which in the past has been called the rainbow body or the diamond body, or a number of different names from different cultures in the past. So in a sense, that's been my passion, is working on this construct which is a transformation of biology into a light body.
Precisely, yes, and that's what, and you know, I hear people speak about enlightenment, and oh, I'm enlightened and this and that. Well, you will never be fully enlightened until you turn into your light body, I guess I should say. And you know, I mean, yes, we are going through an enlightenment process, but there's a difference between being enlightened and fully enlightened, you know.
As far as I understand it, with the Ra material, the Law of One, which I'm imagining was the first group who were talking about starseed, although they called them wanderers.
Exactly.
They said in the early 80s that the majority of wanderers were sixth density. That's the same as the people that Corey Good's talking to. They're sixth density blue avians.
Precisely, yes.
So back in the early 80s, the majority of starseed that are incarnate on the planet, some of them have had lifetimes all the way through for like 25,000 years or more. Others have just arrived, sort of,
Precisely.
one or two lifetimes.
Exactly.
And so that would have been, they said back then that 1% of the Earth population at that time, early 80s, were starseed. That's about, back then, that would have been about 60 million. So some 40 million that were incarnate back then was sixth density. And sixth density have already gone through that phase of dematerializing their biology through an act of will and compassion. And they have already experienced living in a light body inside or part of a group light body. So then they've already reached that level or that stage where they are non-physical beings in their natural environment. So there's 40 million incarnate back then, even more now, although from now a lot of 4D, fourth density, past human bodhisattvas are incarnating in 4D starseed, kind of coming in bunches now, or batches.
Right, and I see it all the time, and people, you know, there's several different types of soul incarnates here. You've got the angelic, you have the angelics, which is what I ascended from, and then was placed down in Pleiades as my first incarnation after being in the heavens. But you really truly also have people that are earth souls.
Absolutely.
You know, and it doesn't mean that just because you're an earth soul, it doesn't mean that your DNA isn't being activated to be one with everyone else with an even higher density. And it doesn't mean that you're not equal. People are like, oh, I'm an earth soul. Well, that's okay. You know, the angelics are equal. You know, everyone's one. Everyone is equal to someone else. Some people kind of I've seen people get upset. I mean, not by my work, not by my readings, but get upset because they're like, oh, well, I'm from Sirius, from the fourth ray of Gaia. And not upset, but they're like, oh, I guess this is why this is happening, because I'm not of a higher density. You know, but really, you know, that's not the case. That's why you were put here. You know, we kind of choose these incarnations. It's not that we choose to come into a bad life or certain types of struggles. It's simply that we are here to help others, to operate in unconditional love, and learn our lessons for our soul purpose, not only our soul purpose, but for the next life that we enter into.
And as far as I understand it, what you're calling the angelic frequency is what sixth density is.
Precisely, yes. Yeah, that's the sixth density, yeah. So, you know, and I mean, I've had encounters. I mean, I remember being, you know, 6, 7 years old, and looking out the window and seeing these ships, you know, because we lived on a farm, and we were quite far away at that time from a lot of people. The area has since grown up since then, yet, you know, and there were other things that I was involved in, you know, via, you know, when you talk about Corey Goode, you know, via the Secret Space Program, my lab, you know, I had experiences there, but that's a whole different story, and, you know, that causes, that is what caused, you know, my own memories coming back to me, and then, you know, when I'm ready, one day I'll have the full regression, but it's some very intense things that, you know, especially with the ET agenda, that the government really tried to, you know, they set agreements. Hey, trade us your technology, and we'll let you operate and test these certain human subjects with certain abilities, etc. Kind of like Corey Goode, and a lot of people are unaware that they were involved in these things, and they're going to be in for a shock of the lifetime when it really comes through. And so I just send heavenly and unconditional love, even to the syndicates right now, as Corey Goode calls them. You know, we have to have compassion, because we could have chosen to maybe incarnate in one of the syndicate's bodies and taken a certain course, being manipulated and lied to, and or what have you, and etc. You know, we always have to hold that space for everyone, no matter what stage in life that they're going through.
I just saw a couple of weeks ago the EU Commission President talking in Parliament. Jean-Claude Juncker is talking about his experiences of interacting with different extraterrestrials.
Right. I mean, I have them quite often. You know, I mean, I don't talk about them too much, as I do my best to. You know, I like to, when I host, I like to really share information with my interviewees, because I think it's important. You know, I think it's important that people, you know, I mean, I try first, you know, my goal is to give the interviewee the floor, but at the same time, I also contribute a little bit of my information, just to help the viewers and people, you know, so they can get, you know, two sides, or not even two sides, just see the sharing that's going on with World Ascension Conference, because, you know, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone is just as important than the other, and we need to really start coming together and breaking the barriers of separation and loving one another, operating on that unconditional love frequency, because our society will never heal, and we won't heal as a planet until we really deal with the things that are going on within, until we deal with the past and really embrace it and say, hey, okay, let's move on from the past, and let's work towards a higher evolution of consciousness, mental, physical, and spiritual health.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, can you, like I said, these things that you create, what are they called again? Because I've seen them, but I can't remember exactly what they're called. That contain the light body, the merkabra energy associated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they're all from what they call golden ratio geometries, meaning that the angle coding from the center of the construct outwards is based on what they call five-fold geometries, or five-fold symmetries. And in physics, this would be called the Planck scale geometry, or what they call sub-Planck phase space geometries. Dan Winter calls it implosion physics, or the scaffolding for the phi spiral to implode at its center, and there you've got a teleportation projection from there. So the geometries are based on the space, or the way that the golden ratio fragments itself, or combines together smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller units packed inside a main membrane. But as you get the smaller units, they're all diminishing in size in golden ratio towards the
right. And these things, and these things are actually beautiful. And you can keep on talking as I'm doing a screen recording. I'm just going to minimize this, and I'm going to go up on Facebook, if you don't mind, and show the viewers how beautiful these creations that you are making. But continue continue talking.
Thanks. Yeah, sure. If they weren't beautiful, something would be wrong. So they need to be beautiful, because if the future is higher dimensional or more evolved or more integrated or more compassionate, then it also means more beautiful. So these constructs.
Well, the Fibonacci code in itself is absolutely gorgeous. It's also, Fibonacci code is also known as the golden ratio, which is pi 3.14. And can you explain to the viewers who may not be, people who are just, going through this ascension process and etc., what exactly, just a short description of how you can view the Fibonacci code and the golden ratio literally in everything. And I'll pull up some photos as well of that.
Sure. This is phi ratio, so it's 1.618, but it does have multiples of phi.
Right.
Powers of phi. But really, at the guts of it, the really essence of it is that when packing these units together, you pack them in a way which is you have a center one, and then you pack around that. And the first thing you do is you get 12 of them around that, and then each one of those has 12 in it, and so you've got 144 around it. So you come up with these numbers from the past and ancient texts and so forth. The beauty of it is, as you pack more and more together and get bigger and bigger and bigger and larger clusters, the ratio from the outer circumference to every unit membrane size inside it towards the center is always golden ratio. That's the important part, is that the outer to the inner and everything that goes on in there as far as size and shape of units and volume and everything is all based on the golden ratio. What that means is that it's packing in a way which is called embedding in golden ratio. Dan Winter calls it phase conjugating. And the way that everything really happens is that it's like when you roll up a wet towel or you flick a whip. So you've got a large sort of arcing spiral that's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, like the flick of a whip. And you can tell that as you're flicking that whip, it's increasing in speed as it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and then it cracks at the end of it. So the large spiraling arc is like the
pattern. Yeah, it's a pattern that repeats itself over and over in nature. I can find that pattern in my cell phone, and I can find that I can take my cell phone and I can hold it up against a Nautilus seashell, okay? And that's exactly what I can do. And you're going to find that exact same pattern in both things, and that is the Fibonacci, the golden ratio, etc. And I just want to read something here as I have your diamond light ray codes. And, guys, the website is www.unifiedfractalfield.com. This is Grayham Forscutt's one of his websites, and I'm just going to read this little bit right here. The alphanumerics cross-referencing, A equals 1, Z equals 26. And that's a whole other thing that I really want him to elaborate on a little bit later, because it's a science. It really is a science, these alphanumeric codes. And this one is 266. Received the diamond light codes, the core mathematical formula, golden ratio symmetric, survives compression, collapsing quantum waves of implosions, compression of Dicicus
trichoctahedron.
Exactly, and the rhombic trichoctahedron, packing rhombic trichoctahedra, see, I mean, these are like, I'm so honored to have you on, Graham, because this is the first time that I've been exposed to this, and this is what I love. We all think we have this like infinite knowledge, but yet we are all walking each other home, and we are learning from each other every day. But anyway, I'll go on from this. Trioctahedral clusters, plasma captivation membranes, protective plasma membranes, which also protects the light body and programs the light body. Superluminal with superluminal solar waves, at a phase conjugate mirroring, and etc. I mean, this is beautiful, guys. Really, I encourage you to find Graham on Facebook, and really visit this website right here. and the viewers can see it. The listeners, you will have to look at your screen right now to be able to see this. Um, so yeah, I mean it's absolutely amazing. I'm just gonna like it right there. So it's amazing.
Those alphanumerics, or the letters and the numbers, came from a book that I read early in the 1980s, which was called The English Kabbalah by William Eisen, and that was the first time I experienced or came across that letters were themselves fractal, based on the golden ratio. Years later, I came across Dan Winter, who had the little English curvy letters, the lowercase letters, mapped on a torus, and the phi spiral going through it, and he's got the torus there, he's twisting it around, and the letters are like little shadow snippets of the phi spiral on the inner surface of the torus. So that was like one torus is one letter, and you shift the letter, you shift the torus around on different axes, or you cluster toruses together, and then you've got word for a phrase. So phrases and words are crystallizations of the golden ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you know, that's
like the trichondahedron and the light body.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The golden ratio represents itself in everything, in sound waves. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. I really do like that scripture from the Bible. That's one thing they didn't edit out. So, even your words are such a vibration that they really affect your life. Me as an intuitive and clairvoyant and international speaker, I tell people, be very conscious of your words, because that also is a creation and a manifestation into your reality. So Graham, what I want to do right now is I want to pull up this video that you just posted 21 hours ago, and I think this is the 12-fold community. And this little video, I want to play a short clip if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay. Let's view this via YouTube. Let's expand the screen.
Economic way that nature combines units together is with 12 around the center one. So this is some of these shapes based on the golden ratio, and which is the source of template reality. And what we're looking at, or talking about before, about the social structure, the 12 around one.
Even social structure, guys. Even this applies to these.
I'm calling them 12
these
departments, or 12.
These 12 departments that he's holding up right now.
Perfectly packed around.
They're perfectly packed around the merkabra shape that he just showed.
A number of other groups beginning to.
Thrive group, the one that just showed right here. That if any of you guys are interested, Google Thrive group. It's the prime pattern of nature.
What you would call the farming, which would be like the permaculture, that would be one whole unit, which would be how to deal with animals and plants, growing, composting, and everything that's involved in that. Then you've got another one which would be like urban and infrastructure, which is like the Venus Project, where you've got how best to provide...
The Venus Project. Oh, I'm so excited about that.
Large numbers of people. You've got the healing aspect.
You've got the healing Reiki aspect that's also represented in these codes. Everything. That there he's holding up.
Just snugly inside the shape here.
Yeah, that there is just the same as that shape right there. That all goes back to the golden ratio and the light body and everything within this universe.
Part of the hub, and then one, that one packs in there. And once again, you can have 12 around there. So that's,
yeah, you can have 12 around that. So I really recommend all of you guys. I'm gonna order some from Graham, because not only does he create these, but not only does he create these beautiful structures, but you have to remember that it's coming from him. So they are in essence infused with this amazing energy, and I really encourage you to to really request something of the sense from him, and I can't wait to grab one for myself, Graham. I really can't. I'm excited.
Nowadays, the templates for them are online. You can just download a pattern and fold it, cut it out, fold it up.
Exactly. Yeah, you can download them for online.
Yeah, sure. If you know the name of it, you can search Google Images, get the pattern.
Nice, nice. Well, that's awesome that you're actually offering that information as well. I'm the same way. You know, I had someone tell me, oh, because I used to be a potter. You know, I used to rent studio space and etc. And I'm telling them, I'm like, you don't understand. I said, I would love to do that. I said, but this is my line of work right now. This is what I was meant to do now. Back then, it was amazing, and I loved being a potter. Yet it's very tedious work. It takes a lot of time. I love the potters of this world. You know, it's like an ancient tradition, and you know, that all goes back to the golden ratio. You know, everything can be found, but you know, the golden ratio aspect also represents, you know, what we at World Ascension Conference represent, and Graham right here represents, you know, the sharing of information. So,
that's right.
You know, we're not in this for the monetary thing, you know. The donations that we get, that me and Laura, Eisenhower, and Dollie receive from World Ascension Conference, and thank you guys all for donating so far. That goes in support for technical equipment via these interviews, and travel expenses, you know, things like that. I mean, everything's being tucked back because we are a nonprofit community. We're not a legal organization. I'm just going to say that right now, because it's not about the money. You know, we are just a nonprofit community that we are all here for you. You know, we share, we add people's websites to our website, even if they're in the same line of work. It's time to break these barriers of separation, and within this community, to really come together and co-create. You know, as opposed to being in this you know, cliquish form of new aginess and etc. And oh, I'm going to do my own thing, and you know, because this life right now, and especially in the time that we're living in, this is not a competition. There's no time to compete. It's only time to come together, embrace one another, love each other, and promote one another.
Well said. Yeah, all my stuff there, like how to build these shapes, is on my website for free. You just have to go into I think it's called Education, and there's PDFs and little movies of how you make all these shapes if anybody's interested.
Precisely, yeah, and I will, Graham, I'm going to include that. I'm going to include that right now. I'm actually going to open up this chat part on the side, and I'm going to let you type in via chat the website.
Oh, okay.
And that way, I will, when I upload this to YouTube, people will be able to click on the link, etc. And any other links you have to share, just put them right there, and I'll copy and paste that to our YouTube channel.
Sure. Yeah, I do have another website. It's called Star Kids New Zealand.
Oh, nice. We actually have a website, Dollie and I. It's called starchildren.com, and she's over in the UK. And you can find us also on Facebook. It's just called Star Children. It's a Facebook page. So.
Right.
And you know, Graham, do you have a website? Is the Unified Fractal Field? Is that the one? Do you have a website that represents your alphanumeric codes, or any information on that?
Yeah, it's one of the pages on that website.
Okay, so the Unified Fractal Field. All right. Well, what I'm going to do for the viewers, I'm gonna click on this.
Go on the top there, you'll see it, English hieroglyphics.
Exactly. You know, yeah, so I'm going to do that for the viewers right now, and so that they will be able to view that. You know, beautiful website, by the way. So, let's just scroll down a little bit. Is it under Stararchitecture, Metaphysics, Conscious Space-Time? Oh, I got it, English Hieroglyphics. Boom.
Yeah.
I see it. The last one over here on the right. All right. See, and this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is an amazing concept that Graham first, you know, showed me, and I can't wait to really delve into it when I have the time. And you know, you guys can, you know, I'm sure Graham wouldn't mind if you save these images, you know, right here. I'm just going to save one right now, the English alphabet of light of the modern era. You know, alphanumeric education, and then I'm just going to put save, you know. So, I mean, there's so much out there, guys, you know. There's, you know, I mean, this is what it's all about, everyone. This is what it's all about. It's all about sharing, co-creating, and coming together, because it's like the problem is humans right now in this era, we think we have time, you know. And like I said, don't get frustrated that you're not being physically active. As I stated on the interview with Lori last night, with Lori McDonald, who was recently vetted for a show on Discovery Channel and a documentary. We spoke about so many things, and you know, we think we have time, and we really want to reiterate. Please remember, you know, a lot of you guys out there, I mean, I was in the same position. In 2012, I came up with the idea, me and my friend Ajna, we created worldascensionconference.com, but it never really got off the ground. And I kind of surrendered to the universe. I traveled to Hawaii trying to promote it, etc., and get some people on board. Well, obviously, in that timeline, it simply wasn't time for it. And I'm also writing a book called The Source Within. So therefore, you know, the month of April, I was sleeping for 16 hours a day. I would sleep when my daughter went down for her nap, because she sleeps from 4 to 6 hours when she takes her nap every day. And I was like, when is this going to stop? I'm so tired. And the Pleiadians, the Blue Avians, and a few, and you know, my heavenly angelic guides, they told me, they said, Lindsey, they said, don't worry about your book right now. Your book has already been written. It's already been manifested in this timeline, but in a separate universe, whatever. Don't worry about it. They said your goals and dreams have been met, but right now you are getting a DNA upgrade, several DNA upgrades. We are also preparing you for something huge. And I said, okay, I surrender. So I continued to sleep. So then I was having a webinar with one of my friends, and I said, you know, I feel like in a day or so, I'm about 3 days, I'm going to get my energy back. Well, not only did I get my energy back, but within 3 days, World Ascension Conference was birthed. And if you could have told me 5 days prior, I would have said, what? Are you kidding me? You know, I had no idea that was the huge thing. They said they were equipping me with tools, etc. And the entire 4 years they've been equipping me with spiritual tools that I needed to handle this. Because I thought I was so ready to go out and save the world in 2012. You know, and maybe I was. Yet I had a few more things to learn, and you know, I'm just so grateful. And that all goes back to really, you know, guys, listening to your intuition, you know, and being okay with the fact that you cannot be physically active in this community, as far as maybe finances, or you know, you're a stay-at-home mom, etc. I'm a stay-at-home mom. You know, just know that right now, in this universe, you are at the perfect time and perfect space that you're supposed to be in. Also remember that just because you aren't moving your physical body, your etheric body and your consciousness is doing enough. Like I said, if you can't meditate and set certain intentions, if you can't meditate or do this or do that, your simple consciousness, setting intentions when you sleep, to leave the body via astral travel, asked to go view certain Akashic records, etc., to travel to meet your star guides, your star family, your soul family. I'm telling you, and use that heavenly discernment, call on the heavenly angels to guide you safely through your astral travels. And you are making a difference just by simply that. You are making a huge difference. I mean, look, I slept the entire month pretty much of April, and look where it's taking me. I mean, I know there was a lot before that, that I did a lot of groundwork and etc. spiritually for myself and others. Yet, I just want to tell people to please unconditionally love themselves and really just let them know you are doing enough out there right now.
Some of your conversation there was cutting out a bit, so hopefully it was all okay on your end.
Well, either way, there was a lot of energy going back through the road back and forth, and if it broke up a little bit, that's completely fine. I'm still gonna go with it. People have heard that message before. Like I said, guys, don't get upset because you feel like you can't be very physically active in this community. Simply know you have a purpose via by raising your consciousness, albeit meditation or setting intentions as you fall asleep and set out on your astral travels. Simply ask for the heavenly angels to guide you safely through your astral travels. And if you wish to gain more knowledge, ask to view the Akasha records during your astral travels. I just want everyone to know out there that even if they feel like they're hindered in any way by their certain physical circumstances, your simple consciousness is enough right now. And that's what we need, is just a sheer shift in consciousness, and it's going at a rapid rate. It really is. People are waking up day in and day out. And find yourself that community online. I'm always here. Look me up, Lindsey Elocin Hooper. I'm gonna type in like I do in every video. I'm gonna type in our website and the World Ascension website, and you can contact us. You can contact us there. We're always here for you. We're going through this process, this enlightenment process, and this ascension process with you. We're no different than anyone else out there. We're not we're not gurus. We're the same as you. We're all one. So
I'd just say that if anybody is interested in the numeric side of things and they want to follow up on it, they just need to PM me and I can share all my collected work with them, and then they'll have that as a backdrop. So any new phrase that they work out for themselves can immediately go into what I've already collected. So they've all of a sudden got a cross-referencing frame of reference.
Right, and Graham, what would you recommend, as people have contacted you, what would you recommend for starseeds going through this process right now?
As you've been saying, just to find that little bit of creative...
Okay, I'm sorry, Graham. Repeat that. A motorcycle just went by. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just to find that place of stillness that gives you access to the universe and your own information that you want to access, so that you can be more creative within what's going on. Because all you can do really is find that still point, and that whatever creative passion will give you that stillness, which allows that information to seep through to help you navigate onwards.
Yes, I totally agree, and you know, like I said earlier, and like you said, you know, you know, guys, you can find me, Lindsey. I'll type it in. You can see Graham's name very clearly right now on the screen, and this is mine right here, Lindsey Elocin Hooper. I'm actually the only Lindsey Elocin Hooper on Facebook at this very time, day, and age. So, you know, you can find me through there. If it says that I've reached my limit of friends, I have not, but Facebook will do that sometimes. But I'm almost to it, and if you wish to send me a message, you can. Because I should receive the message request, I hope. If not, you can also email me at World Ascension Conference at Gmail. Hang on. Actually, I'm not going to take up time doing that because all you have to do is visit our website, worldascensionconference.com. All you have to do is click on the link, contact us, right there. And there's a link, it says contact. So if you can't get through to me via Facebook, you can click contact on mine, Laura Eisenhower's, and Dollie Indigo's website. So yeah. Graham, is there anything that you wanted to share before we sign off?
Using those alphanumerics, A1Z26, social networking comes to a number which is 184, the same as fifth dimension and the fourth density.
Precisely.
Those three phrases equal. So Facebook, as you say, Facebook's such an amazing avenue to connect.
Right, and you know, Graham, like I said earlier, you know, I mean, when I was going through my ascension process, I posted a dream on Facebook, and my family basically, I mean, I forgive them. It's all good, you know. They were just, I guess I overwhelmed them to an extent, just by posting a dream on Facebook. It was a dream, and it was full of light, but you know, at that time they didn't have a concept or just weren't of a certain vibration, and they are actually contemplating behind my back to put me in a mental institution the day before Mother's Day. It was very intense. So, and I was, you know, it was crazy what was happening to me. So, you know, it's okay because I love my family, and it wasn't my entire family, by the way. It was just a few members. So, but my dad kind of rescued me from that situation, and here I am in Wilmington, and you know, I knew I didn't want to come to Wilmington. I swore I would never live at the beach on the coast, and then all of a sudden, boom, the opportunity presented itself, and I said I have to go. I don't know why, but I have to go. Interestingly enough, I'm a Libra. I have 5 Libras in my natal chart. On top of being a Libra, born 10/7/84, Venus is my ruling planet, and I was remember in 2012, the huge Venus transit that happened, it was like June 4th. I was actually in transit to Wilmington during the Venus transit.
Nice.
From Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, these synchronistic things in life. And like you said, Facebook is an amazing avenue. That's how I met, well, I mean, Laura and I had met Laura Eisenhower and I had shared several contracts together via a Venus contract, and you know, sisters and etc. and different lives, like on so many levels. But you know, that's when we connected, and mysteriously we have no idea how it happened, because she doesn't remember sending me a friend request. I had sent her one, but all of a sudden it pops up on my notification, Laura Eisenhower sent you a friend request. And I'm like, oh, well, there we go. Okay. And she's like, Lindsey, I have no idea. She was like, I don't know. She was like, but when I saw you, I just knew, and that was like after we became friends. So, I mean, it was, you know, it's just amazing because so many of us are scattered around the world, you know, and now we literally have free calling, even via Facebook, you know, that would have charged us. I mean, we'd be facing like $1 million phone bills right now if it wasn't for Facebook and Skype, you know.
I'm looking forward to the day when Andy Bashagio gets into president.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I actually just posted, about him today, and yeah, I'm not going to share too much information, but I know someone who will be meeting with him very soon. He in a certain place, which is very close to where I grew up. So I'm very excited for them to meet and discuss. I mean, I know they've talked via phone, etc. But he is an amazing man. He really is, and I can definitely confer with him with the secret space program and the time travel, as I was a part of my lab, and you know, that's not easy for me to talk about sometimes. I mean, I do more and more. You know, I'm getting more comfortable with it because it was something I kept inside for quite some years. But I will share one story. I knew that Laura Eisenhower and I had a mission together when I had a confrontation while watching her one of her YouTube videos back in 2012, that I was actually confronted with some, let's just say, men in black at 11 p.m. Um, at night, and they were all wearing, four of them, all wearing shades, and etc. They tried to basically take me. But I went under the instruction of my heavenly angelic guide, and she just said, don't look at them, turn away. If you do, you know, I was scared shitless. She said, if you continue to look at them, you're going to give them power, and they'll have the power to take you. You know, with this Mars operation and everything that Corey Good, you know, talks about, Laura talks about, um, you know, I knew right then, because there's no reason that all of a sudden I have my awakening in 2011. I'm listening to Laura Eisenhower, and boom, the Men in Black show up. I'm like, okay, I must have a serious kind of something going on, because they already want to take me, and I was new to this. I mean, I was very frightened until my angelic guide showed up beside of me and instructed me on what to do about the situation. And I'm not the only one who's had these experiences with the Men in Black and the CIA.
Freaky.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, I don't share that with many people, but my story will, I have a lot to share. I do plan on doing a complete regression um, of my lab experiences and etc. Just so, I mean, like I said, I mean, even the guy who put that, I don't know if you know the guy that put this out on YouTube, or not YouTube, but he basically wrote a like 100 and some page, maybe more, um, book that's free and available online for people who have been in programs such as Monarch and My Lab, and he actually tells you, if you are not strong enough, if he actually puts a disclaimer, please have, like, before you read this information, you might want to go under the care of a therapist of some sort, because it's that intense, you know. My guide showed me a few snippets of memories. I had a few dreams, and then they said, okay, Lindsey, that's all you need to know for now, because what you went through is very intense, as far as like time traveling and etc., having to go into the future and basically go into the future, alter certain things for the shadow or secret space program, and then having to literally kill yourself so that it wouldn't change the timelines to, you know, you wouldn't get mixed in a timeline up and completely throw the whole plan off. I remember being in the classroom and etc., time traveling, and then what happens with a lot of these MyLab victims, Monarch victims, it's that suicide programming. And, you know, I had a wonderful childhood. I did. I was very loved by both of my parents. I still to this day have amazing grandparents who just I was showered in love. And I literally have had in my entire life 4 suicide attempts, and one of them, I was only 10 years old. And I actually remember when they, if any of you guys have not researched the secret space program, look up Corey Good when he talks about, especially like Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. There's a certain episode, I think it aired back in December, or no, not December, but it's sometime last fall of 2015, September or October, and he speaks about um, these victims sometimes fall into these suicide attempts, but what they do with the secret space program, they select X amount of children beginning at age 6 or so, from like 5 to 6, and what they do is they use them until, I don't know, 14 to 30 years. And when you are placed, when they're kind of done with you, but not done, in a weird sense, what they do, they place you back into your body so that no one knows that you're gone or have disappeared. They use an age regeneration process. And I remember the exact time they put me back in my body. I'm just now coming out about it. I've known this for years and years and years and years and years. And I remember waking up under my bed at 6 years old, knowing something wasn't right. Where did I come from? Why is this happening? How did I get here? That's not normal. I was, and I knew that I was placed there from some other entity, what have you. That's when I was placed back through the age regeneration. And after that is when I started having the UFO sightings as a child.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but that's a story for another day. And when I'm speaking at more events, etc., internationally, I'll be going into a lot more of that, because it does take a lot of guts to actually face that, especially when you've been manipulated so badly to the point to where you've affected so many lives by being lost and feeling this abandonment, which actually resulted from your handler, or something. It really messes with your psychosis. And then they try to medicate you. They try to do this. They try to do that. I mean, in the real world, and etc. So there's so much information out there, so in depth. And even though we experience these certain things that might seem evil, or whatever, it still teaches us how to become stronger. It still teaches us how to be the person that we are today.
As Bashar would say.
Precisely, exactly. We are not the victim. We are not. We are the victors. We are the triumphs. We are the strong ones. We are the rainbow bridge, bridging the planets, bridging the heavens onto Earth. We are the warriors. We are the way showers. And we are love, unconditional love, and we are endless light and infinite light and unconditional love. We are light bodies, and this is what we shall operate into now, very soon, and forever. Humanity was designed to evolve, just like every other species.
And it'll be fun.
Yes. But anyway, before we go, Graham, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Because I have a little bit more time, so I just want to open it up for you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very humbled, Graham, and I'm very honored. I have so much love for you. I am, like I said, what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and I'm beyond grateful to have you on. I really am, and thank you so much. And we will be in contact very soon. I'm going to upload this video. We actually have two YouTube channels, guys. World Ascension Conference does. This everything I put up all you have to do is type in World Ascension Conference, because that's what they're both titled. Yet I put up the kind of unedited videos, and my co-founder Dollie, she edits them for more of a professional look, because let's face it, we are imperfect, perfect beings, and everything is perfect and imperfect. You know, we just are. So I encourage all of you to live the now, love your life, take every breath as it's a form of ecstasy, because we're never guaranteed our next breath. Keep going, be strong, keep being the light, keep peacefully living the good life. Raise your consciousness, raise your awareness, do your research. We here at World Ascension Conference, we urge you, you can go to our website, to please do your own research. We like I said, we're not gurus. We're going through this with you. And
thanks so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Graham, for the opportunity for me to have, for Laura Eisenhower and I and Dollie Indigo Star to have you on here. We are eternally grateful. So Lindsey Elocin Hooper here, signing off from World Ascension Conference. We hope to see you soon. Please visit our website, and we do have an event coming up July 16th and 17th, and we hope you can join us. I'm very excited about co-creating. All right, we love you all so much, so many blessings, blessings upon infinite blessings, and infinite love to all of you.